Hello, today we're going to be learning about parallel and perpendicular lines and their equations. So if you remember from Algebra 1, the equation of a line is y equals mx plus b, where the m and the b are unique to each line. Now, for us to do parallel and perpendicular today, we need to be able to look at an equation and find the slope. Well, m is our slope. Now, we're not going to do graphing in this video, but it's something we'll look at in our next video. So just disregard this for now. And all we're going to do is find the slope. Now, as a reminder, to find slope, if you have a picture, you can use rise over run. But if there's no picture, we can use y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now, luckily for us, if there's an equation, we just find the number next to x, and that's our slope. So let's find the slope of each of these four equations. Well, the number next to x is 6, so our slope is 6. Same thing here, our slope is 4. Now, just a reminder, if there's no number next to the x, we can put a 1. So our slope here is 1, and same thing here, our slope here is 1. On this one, our slope is 2 over 3. Just a little clarification. We don't call that 2/3. You could, but usually when we're talking slope, we say 2 over 3, not 2/3. So same thing here. This would be -4 over 3. Okay, so that's the slope. The slope is the number next to x. If we have a picture, we can just use rise over run. If we have no picture, we've got to use y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So let's do this. Essential question. How can you write an equation of a line that is parallel or perpendicular to a given line and passes through a given point? All right, so first off, what the heck is parallel? Well, parallel means two lines that have the same slope. We use this symbol to mean parallel. And as it said here, that means they have the same slope. Now, on the other hand, perpendicular is two lines that have a product of -1. Now, there's an easier way than that. Just a reminder, that symbol is perpendicular. Hopefully you didn't forget that. And what we're actually looking for is for them to have opposite reciprocals for the slope. Now, what is an opposite reciprocal? You'll oftentimes see me abbreviate opposite as OPP. So an opposite reciprocal. Well, a reciprocal means you flip the numbers. So if I have the number 4 over 5, its reciprocal is 5 over 4. To make them opposites, I have to change the sign. So since this was positive, its opposite is negative. So 4/5 and -5 over 4 are opposite reciprocals. What if it was -3 over 2? Well, its opposite reciprocal would be positive opposite 2 over 3, the reciprocal. But what about 2? Well, 2 can't be flipped unless we make it a fraction, which we can do by putting it over 1. So it would be opposite, negative, reciprocal, 1 over 2. So there we go. 2 over 1 and negative 1 over 2 are opposite reciprocals. That would mean they would be perpendicular if those are the slopes of two different lines. So that's parallel, same slope, perpendicular, opposite reciprocals. So let's look at some pictures. Let's look at some non-pictures, and let's make some equations. Now, just a reminder, if we have a picture, we can do rise over run. Now remember, if you're going up, it's a positive, down is a negative. So that's for the top part. It's positive if we're going right, negative if we're going left. And what we're doing is we're going from one point to the other. So if we look here at line A, we're going from here to here. So it looks like we're going up 1, up 1, over 1, 2, 3, right 3. So your slope here is 1 over 3. Next we have line B, and the slope is up 1, right 2. Got 2 more to do. Line C, which is up 1, right 2. So up 1, right 2. And that's the slope. And then finally, line D. Well, that's from here. So down 2, right 1. Now what it asks is which lines are parallel and which ones are perpendicular. Well, parallel would be the same slope. So I notice that line B and line C both have a slope of 1 over 2. So I know that line B is parallel to line C. Anything else? No, none of the other slopes are the same. So now I check for opposite reciprocal. Remember, that means the numbers have been flipped and their signs have been changed. So if I look, this would have an opposite reciprocal of positive 1 over 2. But that's these slopes. So we can say line D is perpendicular to line B and line C, because they have opposite reciprocal slopes. Now let's write some equations. Or let's actually look at some with no picture. So just a reminder, this is your first x, first y, second x, second y. First x, first y, second x, second y. So we go negative 2 minus 1, y2 minus y1, over x2 minus x1. So that's negative 3 over negative 4, which is 3 over 4. And I apologize that I'm solving these kind of quick. At any point, you can slow the video down and check my work. This is 4 minus negative 1 over 8 minus 2, which is 5 over 6. Let's see, parallel would be the same. They're not parallel. Perpendicular would be flipping the numbers and changing the sign. That didn't happen either. So these are either. Again, 9 minus 5 over negative 8 minus 10. That's 4 over negative 18, which reduces to negative 2 over 9. Check the other slopes. Negative 6 minus negative 4 over 11 minus 2. Negative 2 over 9. But hey, these slopes are the same. So those lines are parallel. Awesome. It's kind of easier when we're just given points. All right, but what you've really come here to know how to do, how to write the equation of a line. Now, just a reminder, an equation is y equals mx plus b, where you have to fill in the m and you have to fill in the b. Now, there's two ways to do this. There's BMXE and point slope. We'll look at both. You pick which one you want to use. To use BMXE, I need to find the m, the x, and the y. For point slope, which this is the equation for point slope, I need to find y, m, and x. Well, lucky for us, here's x and y. Negative 1, 1, negative 1, and, and negative 1. X, y. X, y. And our m is going to be found from parallel. Well, if you remember from our first thing, this is your m. Parallel means the same. So these are both going to be 2. Now, if you want to use BMXE, you fill in a generic y equals mx plus b with everything you know. Y is 1, m is 2, x is negative 1. This is negative 2, and we're solving for b. So we add 2, we get 3 equals b. If you're using point slope, you distribute 2x, positive 2. Because remember, this is a plus, negative times negative. Add 1, and we get y equals 2x plus 3. So here's this answer. Point slope will just go ahead and give you the answer. BMXE, you've got to come back and plug in your m and your b. But notice you get the same answer from both. So point slope versus BMXE. I don't care which way you use. Now let's look at perpendicular. Now if you remember, perpendicular means opposite reciprocals. But there's a problem here. This is not in y equals. So we've got to get it there by DCM SADMAP. And then divide everything by 2. All right, if you're using BMXE, your m is perpendicular, so opposite 1 over 1, because this is negative 1 over 1, which is just 1. X is 2, y is 3. So we go y equals mx plus b. I'm just going to kind of solve these quickly. I apologize. Slow it down if you need to. So our answer is y equals 1x plus 1. Remember, you fill in the m and the b. If you're using point slope, it's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So we go y minus 3 equals 1 times x minus 2. So y minus 3 equals 1x minus 2. Add 3, and we get y equals 1x plus 1. Notice again, same answer for both. Just be careful if we're doing perpendicular. That's going to give us the opposite reciprocal. All right, that's parallel perpendicular. Please do the homework. Please let me know if you have any questions. Until next time.